Hey everybody, how's your Friday going? Sorry I'm a little bit later than normal today. I went and did a walk with a friend up the Hakarimatas this morning, so that was pretty cool. Walk with her actually, I did the Tongariro crossing last month and there was only about 700 steps I think in the crossing. Today there was like over 1300, so it wasn't that fun. But I've done it. You tick it off the list now. Different to doing the, what's it called, from one end to the other, the traverse. This is straight up and straight back down again. I'm sure many of you have done it before anyway. Okay, so today I'm wanting to talk about overthinking. Very common. Most of us probably do it at some point, if not all the time. As the saying goes that I've shared before, over 90% of what we worry about never happens. So therefore something that you're negatively worrying about or overthinking only has a 10% chance of actually being correct or happening. So yeah, it's a big part of our lives generally, is thinking about things too much and yeah, just winding ourselves up, I guess. So for example, how often do you find yourself overthinking something? And the more you think about it, the foggier it becomes, the less clear it becomes. It could be something like someone has said something to you and you've interpreted it one way, even though they may have intended it to come across a different way. And you can stew on it for ages and ages and overthink it and wind yourself up so much only to find out later that you've misunderstood the situation. So what a waste of time, like all of that negative overthinking was in the first place. Often overthinking comes in two forms. There's either dwelling on the past and worrying about the future, are kind of the two different versions of overthinking generally. But believe it or not, you can actually use overthinking to your advantage. There is healthy overthinking and unhealthy overthinking. So I'm just going to sort of mention both of those today. So unhealthy overthinking is when your overthinking doesn't lead to any action, and healthy overthinking is when it leads to a positive action. So signs of healthy overthinking. If you're thinking without action or solution attached is overthinking. Thinking without facts or presuming, assuming. Constantly thinking about what could go wrong or may go wrong. If you're not sure how you feel about something, you're probably overthinking it. Asking yourself what if often. So a saying that I had a while ago and I still use is think about what is and not what if, because that's an overthinking or worrying question that you're asking yourself generally. If you're replaying things over and over in your mind that you have no control over, is generally overthinking, negative overthinking. And you often miss out on what's happening right in front of you, what's happening in the present, because you're worried about the past or the future, or you're overthinking the past or the future. So there's some tools or sort of suggestions that I've got here that can help you when you notice that you're overthinking, some things that you can maybe give a go. So the first one, which I think is good for a lot of things, is journaling. So getting all of those, whatever it is, 60 to 80,000 thoughts you have a day out of your mind. So you might be thinking for half the day about something or overthinking for half the day about something, and it's just at that stage of thought in your mind, and it gets worse and worse the more you think about it if you're negatively overthinking. But if you can get those thoughts out of your head onto paper or a journal or something like that, it actually can make a big difference and make things look clearer. Another thing you can do is use breathwork or meditation, so that just also helps you be present and focused on the now, not the past or the future. Ask yourself if it's something that you can control. If what you're overthinking about is something you can't control, or there's no action that you can take, then it's probably unhealthy overthinking. Another tool is procrastinate worry. So you can schedule a time in your day when you can allow yourself, say, like half an hour to worry about the things of your day. So you keep a little notebook with you or something like that, or put it in a note on your phone of all the things that you worry about. Don't worry about them at the time, and then worry about them at, say, 4 o'clock in the afternoon if that's your worry time. And often when you get to that worry time, the issues that you had in the notebook or you'd written down have actually resolved themselves, or you no longer need to worry about them. So it's quite interesting how that kind of happens, I think, where you could have otherwise spent the whole day worrying about this one thing and then it doesn't actually even happen. Another thing that I've just sort of learnt about recently is for overthinking is the power of visualization. So instead of thinking about all the bad things, which is your unhealthy overthinking again, you can visualize the possible solution unfolding in your mind over and over again, and this until you're comfortable with the situation. So for example, like the person I learnt this off was talking about skydiving. So he's talking about how his mate sort of said to him, "We're going skydiving tomorrow, are you coming with me?" sort of thing. And he could have freaked out and overthought about it for 24 hours, but he used healthy overthinking to sort of work out how it was going to, like, play it out in his mind almost. Like, he started with feeling really sick about it, and then the more he sort of visualized about it, the less scared he was and worried about how it was. And then when it actually came to the time to jump out of the plane, he'd sort of played it over in his mind so many times, he was actually really comfortable with how it was, and he really enjoyed it a lot more. So that's quite interesting to a way to look at things. So along with that, you allow yourself to experience the pain in your mind from the comfort of your own home. So that's when you're doing your visualization, and you can actually remove that pain attached to the moment this way, so that when it happens in real life, it's not such a shock to the system. You can also visualize it going right. So instead of worrying about and overthinking about all the things that might go wrong, what actually happens if it goes right? It's kind of like having a dress rehearsal is another way that I've heard it put as well, or a practice about how you want the situation to play out. So if, say, for example, it's a difficult conversation that you're going to have with your boss, you want to plan and practice what you're going to say. So have a plan, be clear about the intention of the conversation, so that in the heat of the moment, you've practiced what you're going to say. So instead of walking out of the meeting feeling like you haven't said what you wanted to say, because you practiced it so much, it will be there in the back of your mind, and you'll be a lot more prepared for having that hard conversation. And often the best script or the best way of saying things will come from the practice of the dress rehearsal. Another quote, as the Wayne Dyer saying goes, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I think that's so true. So maybe just this weekend or the next couple of weeks, try taking each moment as it comes along for face value, and see how you begin to feel, rather than overthinking or worrying about that moment. So I'll leave you with that thought for the day, and enjoy your weekend, and see you all next week. Bye.